Hey everybody, you are tuning in to the Canary Cry, what is this? This is the Canary Cry News Talk Livestream pre-stream. Thanks for being here. We got a great show for you today. Again, I would like to plug the Rockfin channel. Thank you to everybody who has followed us over on the Rockfin channel. We seem to be moving into an era of change, of shift, of another offensive against people who are, or I don't know, shows, outlets, those who do not simply just toe the mainstream narrative. So things are getting a little shaky on all fronts. So right now, we do ask that you go follow us at rockfin.com/CCNT. And you can even watch the live stream right now over there if you'd like. It's going to be a good time. And yeah, if you got to make another account, maybe you do, maybe you already have a Rockfin account, but trust us, it's worth it. If you want to keep building resilience against the very real possibilities that we disappear from your YouTube or whatever. I mean, it might just be YouTube right now. We're already down off the Twitch. Anyways, go follow the Rockfin. Yahoo! Do it. Okay, everybody. Let's get this show started.
The world is getting crazier. People are acting more and more insane. The end of the world is tomorrow. Tomorrow. There's only one thing to do when the world is falling apart. Listen to Basil and Gonz as they discuss this week's news and events through the lens of Bible prophecy. You are listening to Canary Cry News Talk.
You're listening to Canary Cry News Talk. Today is September 30th, 2022. We are live to tape on episode 541, and today, Puppet Pundit Pivot. And signing on from Off the Grid, Razzle Dazzle, I'm your best buddy Basil.
And my name is Gonz, your favorite Asian provocateur for Christ, a.k.a. the Cabana Boy, live from California, to serve you a podcast that brings you the best news, which is the gospel message of Jesus Christ, while reporting the egregious with a well-rounded, biblically grounded take on world events. And today's immersion phenomenon, Basil, is simply beware.
Ooh.
Beware.
Or be aware of the bees. Ooh. Not a whole lot of bee news today, actually.
Well,
not a whole lot of bee news.
Beware of being right, not beware of being wrong.
Okay.
You know, the trend. It's a
dangerous thing, being right.
The trend has been absurd claims by truth seekers, and then world news and events getting weirder, and then those absurd claims becoming true, or being proven true, or reported as true.
That has been the theme recently, hasn't it?
Yeah. So careful what you desire in terms of being right about things.
Listeners might notice we're a little bit low energy today. We're trying to pick it up. We'll see how we do. But both of us were actually up early, thinking we are going to get everything started early. But then, of course, obstacle after obstacle have led us to starting at the exact same time that we would have started if we didn't get up early.
Late,
so
too.
What?
Later than we'd like.
We are late now, right? Yeah. Well, this is about when we've been going live, which just means that we've been late every day for about a month. Anyways, we're going for it, folks. Let me give you a rundown, Gonz.
Run it down for me. What are we doing?
Okay, still no rundown jingle from the Jingle Boys, huh? All right, everybody. We're going to start out checking in with some climate change, and more importantly, checking in with some producers over there with Storm Ian. What's the current news there? But also on the West Coast, we have our own storm a-brewing, and we'll have an update on the mosquito vaccination needles that will be buzzing around your ear in the near future. Then, of course, Flippy. Is he laughing at us, or is he laughing with us? We'll find out during the Flippy update. A quick little update on Space Force. Yahoo! Things are really getting fired fired up over there. Speaking of fired up, the media's flip-flop puppet punditry when it comes to the Nord Stream 1 and 2 underwater explosions. Some really fascinating, not just developments in the story, but developments in how the media is approaching conspiracy theories, as well as a few other things. Then, speaking of which, we're going to be checking in with COVID and the WACCINE in the second half of the show, and a rundown of Washington Post's 7 reasons why a recession is good for you. Go take your medicine, citizens. The recession is good for you. We'll be breaking that down just a bit. And then, long-awaited, much-loved Nephilim update at the end of the show, Gons. But for now, let's start out with our lead stories.
It has begun!
Climate change.
Climate change.
Sorry about the little moment there.
This is a little Selah, just a little breath.
Let the rundown sink in before we start the long journey across more detailed processing here. But yeah, this is NBCnews.com. Hurricane Ian live updates. Storm makes second landfall now in South Carolina as the death toll in Florida grows. So again, prayers to people out there. Stay safe.
Some of the videos and the pictures have been just absolutely horrific coming out of Florida. I mean, it's weird because once in a while there'll be a flood somewhere around the world, and you'll see houses floating down rivers and some serious destruction. But just knowing that that's all going on in a place where some like near and dear producers are living is a pretty scary concept here.
Yeah. Is there, did we actually get some notes? We did. I know we got notes, but like, is there anything specifically
none
for the
from
show?
Not from our actual Florida producers. I mean, they've got a lot going on. So I certainly do not, I'm not surprised, but if, there are Florida producers who are safe and have internet. I know that's a big problem, or electricity, or whatever. Just let us know. Let us know you're okay. Let us know things are going on. I do know that FEMA has started their sort of individual family assistance over there. We'll see how that goes.
Well, and if you're riding a Tesla around, didn't Elon Musk say that you can float? The cars will be boats for a while or something, a little while.
I'm not. Cars are boats a little while, he says. No, I don't know how I feel about this Elon thing. Elon's been tweeting during this storm, and his tweets are like, well, the funny one is, the Cybertruck can briefly operate as a boat. It'll float for a little bit. And everybody's like, yeah, technically anything can briefly be a boat, Elon. A rock is briefly a boat until it's not.
Yeah, it's all those movies where anytime a car goes in, it just immediately starts sinking. It's all in people's minds that as soon as you touch water, you just go down. There's nothing you can do.
Well, I don't know. That is generally how cars do. Yeah. But he's made some claims that you can take a Cybertruck across a river or something and it'll float across a river. He also tweeted about how Starlink can operate even in hurricane force winds. It's like, okay, buddy.
That. I really don't believe
buddy.
That.
You don't need to push it that hard. Okay,
you can't make it work not everything is a
desert. PR opportunity.
Yeah, I know. All right. Well, yeah. So we just wanted to make sure we touch on that, and it's kind of like a timestamp when these natural disasters happen. We can check back on it at a later time to see what else was going on.
No, we're watching closely. So of course the producers are keeping our Florida producers in prayer, as well as the whole state. Okay, there you go.
Is this constitutional, Mr. President?
Get vaccinated. This is a pandemic of the unvaccinated. Trust me, I know. Get vaccinated. Get a booster right away.
Yeah, along those lines here, KPBS.org, a box of 200 mosquitoes did the vaccinating in this malaria trial. That's not
fun.
a joke. It's literally part of the headline there. That's not a joke.
Yeah.
Yeah. One Seattle morning, Carolina Reed sat in a room with 9 other volunteers, each waiting to take part in a clinical trial for a new experimental malaria vaccine. Reed's turn came. She put her arm over the cardboard box filled with 200 mosquitoes and covered with a mesh that keeps them in but still lets them bite. Quote, literally a Chinese food takeout container is how she remembers it. The scientist then covered her arm with a black cloth because mosquitoes like to bite at night. Okay. Then the feeding frenzy began. Quote, my whole arm swelled and blistered, said Reed. Quote, my family was laughing, asking like, why are you subjecting yourself to this? And she didn't just do it once. She did it 5 times.
Mm-hmm.
You may be thinking this is a joke, right? But it's not. Quote, we use the mosquitoes like they're 1,000 small flying syringes.
Cool quote.
Explains University of Washington Seattle physician and scientist Dr. Sean Murphy, lead author on a paper in Science Translational Medicine released on August 24th detailing the vaccine trials. The insects deliver live malaria-causing plasmodium parasites that have been genetically modified to not get people sick. The body still makes antibodies against the weakened parasite, so it's prepared to fight the real thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, legitimate, you can say bioengineering to some level, but yeah, the 1,000 flying syringes is pretty specific there.
Yeah.
Why is a mosquito bite being compared to a syringe?
So this is something we've followed for quite some time, and mosquitoes are being used for a lot of different fun experiments like this. It's easy to sort of mistake this for the Florida mosquitoes, which were released in the millions, I believe, just 2021 last year, in hopes.
It was the population controlled, genetically modified.
They were mosquito population control experiment. This is a different one. We have touched on it in the past, where they want to use mosquitoes as vaccine delivery mechanisms. And I thought that's interesting because we've covered this idea previously, and this isn't the first time this has been talked about, but this is sort of the most recent and the most viable experiment to have happened. It's interesting because in KPBS, they say, right here, to be clear, Murphy's not planning to use mosquitoes to vaccinate millions of people. Mosquitoes have been used to deliver malaria vaccines for clinical trials in the past, but it's not common. Look,
we're not planning for it, but
those 2 statements are not mutually exclusive. You can not plan. You, Murphy, one individual, doesn't have to be planning to use mosquitoes to vaccinate millions of people. We've already heard Bill Gates talk about wanting to do this. So, Murphy, you're off the hook, buddy. We're not too worried about you in particular. And then they say mosquitoes have been used they've done this before. Okay, yeah, we know. We've seen it before. But this is one of the most impressive ones. Now, what's not so impressive is that this particular, immune response that they were going for here, only lasts a couple months apparently, and I don't know. I guess we're just used to that now. I guess we're just used to vaccines only lasting a couple months. But yeah, so there you go. Now, even if Murphy isn't planning on it, this is, I think, along the lines, and we could all pretty easily point out another experiment that we all kind of thought should be illegal and maybe was illegal but happened anyways and kind of got a little out of hand.
I don't know what you're talking about. You got to be more specific.
No,
I'm just saying, we're going to have a conversation about something.
No. We're not going to have any conversation about that because it will be the last conversation we ever have on YouTube. I'm just saying, hypothetically, somebody out there might have an example.
Look at you, the googly-eyed man censoring his words. Look at that. Beautifully done.
Yeah. Yeah. Probably the only reason we're still allowed on the internet.
I know. I get it. there's
Guns,
a quote
why
here.
say it if we don't have to say it? Let me finish my thought.
Okay.
The thought is, obviously, this is going to get out of hand, and it aligns with some long-standing plans with, global health leaders' wildest dreams that they have not previously been worried about talking about publicly, but for some reason, they seem to be a little worried now.
Yeah, the article continues here, and it says, quote, "They went old school with this one," said Dr. Kristen Leike, a physician and vaccine researcher at the University of Maryland School of Medicine who was not involved in the study. Quote, "All things old become new again."
Mm.
Wow.
Okay.
Interesting, considering that Bible passage about there's nothing new under the sun for scientists to be, referring. What is she referring to? Something recent? Or was she talking about, you talked about this idea of the elite using something like this to distribute some kind of medicine, being sort of the dream of the elite, but also, kind of the point of our show is always pointing to scripture and being like, hey, the idea is not very new. It was at least documented here back in Revelation 9, the book of Revelation, couple thousand years ago. The fifth trumpet talks about the locust. Right here from verse 7, and the locusts look like horses prepared for battle, with something like crowns of gold on their heads, something like it, and faces like the faces of men. Okay, weird. All right, okay, they're locusts, but they have faces of men, but they're prepared like horses in battle. They got these gold crowns. They had hair like that of a woman and teeth like those of lions. They also had thoraxes like breastplates of iron. I like this translation. This
thorax.
is a Berean Standard Bible translation. I like that. The thorax like breastplates of iron, and the sound of their wings was like the roar of many horses and chariots rushing into battle. They had tails with stingers like scorpions, which had the power to injure people for 5 months. And they were ruled by the king of the abyss, Abaddon, Apollyon. So it seems like this whole thing is inspired by perhaps Abaddon or Apollyon. Not necessarily
You're
these
just
entities.
making crazy
I'm
connections,
saying
Guns. You crazy guy.
These ideas. I mean, you're invoking. What are you invoking here? If you're using the design of insects or creatures,
Guns,
that crawl.
Read this woman who got the nice swollen puffy arm, got paid $4,100 to get about 200 mosquito bites. All right, that's good money in today's economy.
Well,
that can get you like 2 tanks of gas.
That'll get you like $3, $4 a year, maybe, based on some savings accounts.
So Daily Wire also did a kind of a write-up of a write-up. They did an article that just refers to this NPR article, which is a common practice, thankfully, in our legacy news media. Says here, Dr. Kristen Leike, a physician and vaccine researcher at the University of Maryland School of Medicine, told NPR, quote, "They went old school with this one," kind of a repeat here, quote, "all things become new again," she said, adding that developing such genetically modified live parasites has proven to be a total game changer. According to the university's Twitter page, Leike led the phase 1 trials for the Pfizer-BioNTech COVID-19 vaccine and served as co-investigator for the Moderna and Novavax COVID-19 vaccine trials. So she knows what she's doing. Come on. She worked for... How could the same person do the phase 1 trials for Pfizer and Moderna and Novavax
and mosquitoes?
And mosquitoes. The same lady. She's doing the mosquito trials. Researchers believe the experimental approach could result in a more effective vaccine in the future, considering the world's first malaria jab only has an efficacy rate of 30 to 40%, according to the World Health Organization. Quote, "We think we can obviously do better." Stephen Kapi, an author of the study and parasitologist at the University of Washington, Seattle, and Seattle's Children's Research Institute, told NPR, adding that, quote, "increasing production capability to scale up manufacturing will require investment. Oh, it's always requiring investment, Gons. We always need more investment. The team said they would eventually transfer the vaccine into syringes rather than mosquitoes to get a more accurate dosage.
Yeah, but what if those syringes are attached to robots or something, or genetically modified scorpion?
Yeah, sure, it could be. It's interesting because the case they're trying to make, and we've heard this before, like it's even mentioned in here, they've been kind of doing this since 2018, which means we've been covering it since 2018. This is the first time that I've heard that they are not planning on using the mosquitoes to surreptitiously vaccinate people. It seems like there's been a change in messaging. Probably because the sort of secret vaccination plan wouldn't go over very well right now.
Yeah, they did the test and it didn't go well. So yeah, they're not going to tell us.
Not everybody's super into that.
I don't need the details to go out.
Using the mosquitoes as a manufacturing vector is the weird part. Because usually, like the flu vaccine is manufactured within chicken eggs.
Well, this is still an example of the lady being part of the experiment. Just using humans as part of the experiment anyway.
I'm sorry, I missed you out. I missed you. You're saying instead of chicken eggs, using this lady?
Well, this lady's already part of it, so there's already a human.
Are you talking about the test subject or the scientist here? Who are you talking about?
The test subject. They're already experimenting, so it's not like. To do it in the population is not that big of a step.
That's the point I'm making.
Okay.
They're trying to say that the mosquito is just a manufacturing vector and not a delivery vector. But why are you even testing the mosquitoes and letting them bite people to see if it gives them the vaccine? It doesn't make any sense.
Some collateral data,
a messaging issue than it is like what they're actually trying to do. Yeah. It's very interesting. Yeah. I mean, it's a very subtle pivot. Somebody could easily be like, oh, okay, yeah, they're using eggs for a flu vaccine vector to manufacture the thing. That makes sense. They just want to use mosquitoes here. Well, then why are they testing the mosquito bite as a delivery mechanism? Yeah, don't ask too many questions, okay? They said they're going to put it in a syringe. Let them put it in a syringe. Trust the science, Gons.
I don't know, man.
It's
all sort of becoming weirder and weirder, to be honest with you. But okay.
That's true.
All right. It's Friday.
Well, it's Friday.
Yeah. There you go. We can keep playing with the Friday thing.
You're going to learn today.
Because it's Friday. You ain't got no job. And you ain't got shit.
Are you not entertained? It's Friday. It's Friday.
It is. Gons, you got any updates? You got any big plans for this weekend?
No plans. I do want to do something long overdue here. We did get some stuff in the snail mail over the last several weeks here.
Great.
Yeah, I think where's the sticker? Where's my sticker for the slot? Oh, you know what? I spilled a giant drink on my table right before we went live today. So I think some of the cards got moved away. But, Sir, I forget his name now. I'm blanking on his name, Basil. Sir.
You have not told me any of this.
The Slav man.
Sir Igor.
Yeah. He sent
Sir
us
Igorius, Knight of the Squatting Slavs.
Thank you. Yes. He sent us this challenge coin from the Air Force.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, it's from Air Force One.
Air Force One. Yeah, Air Force One, President of the United States challenge coin. It's got I can't really show it. I don't think you're going to be able to see it. It's in this little bag. It's got a little airplane and then the White House and then the Earth behind it. And then on the other side, it's got the U.S. seal with the eagle.
Yeah, Sir Igorius, thank you very much for that. It was very cool. You made one dangerous mistake, though, and that was just sending one of them, because now Gons and I must battle to the death to see who gets to hold on to it.
Maybe that was the plan all along. Mm-hmm. Maybe when we travel, we'll just carry it, and then we'll hand it off.
We'll have to... Yeah, we'll challenge each other to things and pass it back and forth. Yeah, thank you very much, Sir Igorius, Knight of the Squatting Slavs.
And we also, from producer Davey Frost, we have this sticker here which is, it's got 2 coins. One of them is the donkey. One of them is the elephant. Where is it? There we go. And it says heads or tails. This coin isn't worth a flip.
Nice.
Had to get that in before the elections.
Yeah, that's very good. Thank you very much.
Thank you. It's fun. It's appreciated. We just
good stuff.
Always try to squeeze it in, but today got to squeeze it in. So thank you guys.
Yeah. And I'm not sure. I think I don't have it right by me, but producer Pinky sent me a set of, I think they're supposed to be planters, but I've been using them as cereal bowls. And they are sort of themed by different herbs, but one of them is a red planter that says Razzle Dazzle Basil on it. And I've been using it to eat Captain Crunch. So thank you very much, producer Pinky.
It's all about how you apply it.
Yep. And if there you go. Sometimes people ask us or have questions about a P.O. box. We got our P.O. box over there at canarycryradio.com/support. You can see our mailing address there if you have anything that just simply must get into our hands. Thank you very much. If you send us baked goods, we're so thankful. We probably won't eat them, though. Too easy for the CIA to slip a syringe into the box and squeeze a little bit.
They don't even need that. They can just unleash some mosquitoes to come,
That's right. Yeah,
prick at the
send
chocolate.
We will not accept delivery of a box of mosquitoes either. Okay, with that, Gons.
Yeah.
Real quick, we just need a little bit of an update. It's interesting because we did not have this update last episode when we also made kind of an announcement about this. We officially got a notice from PayPal yesterday, simply about a change of service, a change of policies, a change of, in theory, their contract with us. They're changing their contract without us agreeing to it. But you know what? That's the world we live in today. We put it in the email. So if you are on our email list, you can get a closer look at these notices. Long story short, they are making some changes. One of them is, first of all, we have to ask permission if we're going to be collecting any funds for live streaming. You can see it there on the box. Any activities in which people transmit video, voice, or text content in a live environment, etc., etc. PayPal requires pre-approval to accept payments for certain items and services. So why? Yeah, why would we need pre-approval to live stream? We don't know why, but it must be done. Now I don't know. We don't technically collect money as payment for live streaming. So I don't know exactly if that applies to us, but they sure are trying.
Yeah, we got some loopholes. Maybe we can.
Yeah. Now, they did update their terms and conditions about at their discretion what they can shut off people's livelihood for. And of course, they include things like nudity, harmful, obscene, harassing, objectionable, sexual, illegal drug use, depict or promote violence, criminal activity, cruelty, self-harm, depict, promote, or entice hatred or discrimination of protected groups of individuals or groups based on protected characteristics, e.g. race, religion, gender identity, sexual orientation, etc., present a risk to user safety or well-being, certainly we are not that, or are fraudulent, promote misinformation, or are unlawful. So lots of things there, but the important part of it is up where it says it's all in PayPal's sole discretion. We've seen how big tech has sort of bent that little rule quite a bit for people who are not necessarily part of the mainstream narrative. Now, that may or may not affect us, but we are taking steps to get out ahead of this. So this is not a call for everybody to go ditch your support of the show on PayPal quite yet, but just keep a lookout. We'll be sending out emails and text messages and stuff like that when we have more information. But we kind of felt it coming. This was some confirmation of that. And so we're going to try to get out ahead of it. We're moving into an era where sort of producer participation and producer, diligence will kind of decide more than ever whether CCNT kind of survives into this next season. And that's not just financially. It's time, talent, and treasure. If you think we're going to be around forever, just keep in mind that is only possible through crafty, diligent, and smart moves on not just our part, but that of the producer as well. So stay in touch for more information as things kind of shift moving into 2023. Anything to say about that, Guns?
Oh, there's a lot I can say. I just don't want to take up too much time. But yeah, certainly this is this is when we have to be as wise as serpents but gentle as doves, because it's a delicate situation, but also got to be pretty smart about how we move here. So.
Yep. And we've also had some confirmation recently about some manipulation of our numbers on a lot of different platforms.
Yeah. We got some
straight up evidence. That our numbers are being suppressed, which doesn't surprise anybody. But so we're kind of right in the middle of it. So I will say this, like some people are just, some people just kind of passively enjoy the show. I mean, nothing wrong with that. They just kind of enjoy it and let it happen and let other people produce and don't sort of get connected with the community or, sign up for the newsletter or whatever. And that's fine. But just keep in mind, like if you don't do at least one of those things, we very well will probably just disappear and you won't see us again until somebody
until it's too late
posts it and somehow by the grace of God you get that information. Okay.
Are we allowed to be live in Russia? Maybe we just learn Russian and just
I don't know. We'll have to email our KGB handlers, see if it's time.
I know it's just switching teams really wouldn't be a true free agency.
Depending on who you ask, Gons, it wouldn't be switching teams. Some people think we are Russian spies already.
That's true. You're right.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
And with that,
I
want to thank an executive producer.
Let's do it.
You ready?
Executive producers.
That's right. We've only made it this long, folks, because of the value for value model. We take no corporate money whatsoever. We are entirely funded by people who get value from this show. If you get value from the show, just know that the only way that it continues is if you put value back in. That's called being a producer, and it's not just a gimmicky fun name, it's the real deal. And so we like to thank our executive producers, which come in nice and hot to keep us going. And we're going to thank executive producer The Sentinel.
Thank you. All right.
And The Sentinel is a triple threat producer today. He is produced with his time, his talent, and his treasure, all on the same episode. And let's see here. He's got a note. He came with a nice round number, which means we're not going to read it. But he says, here's a note to read. Hi, CCNT family. I know times are tough, but that is the time we need to lean in and continue giving. Trusting the Lord to provide. Triple threat producer today. Yes, time. He came in with a bunch of reviews, which is very thankful, or that we're very thankful for. 2, he came in with his treasure. And 3, he sent in a microfiction. So he came in with his talent as well. Very impressive. He says, I really hope y'all don't stop CCNT to restart CCR. Maybe a happy medium. I hope the 3 shows a week can stay going for CCNT. It helps me a ton in my classes and interactions as I work with people from all views, backgrounds, and ways of life. Respectfully, The Sentinel. Yeah, this has been kind of a conundrum for us recently, Gons, because it's about a 50-50 split. We have the actual quantifiable data from some polls about, bringing old school Canary Cry radio back versus keeping CCNT how it is. It is literally almost exactly 50-50 split down the middle. Okay. And the problem is we want to bring, we know people love and miss old school Canary Cry radio, But we are just so busy. I mean, it's just so crazy. Our weeks are so cram-packed. I don't know how we can do that. So
we need a time machine. I thought you had a time machine. You lied to us all.
Biden took it from me. No, why would you just shout such ludicrous lies on the internet? The truth is, Biden came and took my time machine. I'm sorry. I know. He had some plans and it didn't work out.
So this was from Biden in time.
We will hunt you down and make you pay.
It was a specific personal threat to you to take your time machine away, and clearly he's already fulfilled it.
Hunting the most dangerous game, time travelers. Thank you very much, The Sentinel. And yes, we are continuing. I mean, honestly, we're going to have to make that decision in the same way we have to make a lot of decisions, which is leave it up to the producers. You know, if producers help us make Canary Cry Radio a thing again, then we can make it happen. It's a matter of finding the time. But, you know, we're always putting out calls for, again, not just financial producers, but if we had producers like helping us schedule, helping us get guests, there's like so much work that goes into that show. It's a whole thing. But thank you very much, The Sentinel, for your input and your producership. And Guns, we had one more executive producer come in.
Hold on. This is for The Sentinel.
Okay.
Where'd you find this?
Okay.
This one is Dame Lynn, Lady of the Lakes.
Dame Lynn, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Coming in.
Yeah, Dame Lynn, Lady of the Lakes, comes in with 133.33 plus fees.
Ooh, that means she is Illuminatus.
That's true.
Yeah. Hold on. What happened here? Here we go. Man,
there we go.
Computers.
Yep. The note continues. Keep fighting the good fight. Thanks for all your time and work. Love you guys. Dame Lynn, Lady of the Lakes. Well, thank you very much. Dame Lynn, Lady of the Lakes.
Where'd you find this?
There we go. We did it. I think that concludes our list of executive producers. Thank you so much. And one more thing. we are falling behind. Just going to say real quick, we got such a nice collection of ratings and reviews today. We didn't quite hit the 33 rating and review mark, but I do want to read a few reviews. 3 of them from, seems like The Sentinel, had a nice... Is that a new one? Did you make that?
I don't know what's happening.
I don't remember the dun dun dun. Oh, yeah. The Sentinel, the executive producer, apparently had a review party, got all his friends together, made it happen, because we have the Sentinel's coolest classmate left a 5-star review. Coolest podcast. I love this podcast. It helps me understand the news and not get depressed. 33 out of 33. Ooh, signaling there. We have the Sentinel's classmate, came in 5 stars. Best podcast, 10 out of 10. Highly recommend this podcast to stay informed and positive while digesting the news. Thank you very much, the Sentinel's classmate. And then we have the Sentinel's other classmate, 5 stars. Greatest podcast I listened to, 5 out of 5 podcast. It's super entertaining and informative. You'll increase your IQ by at least 33 if you listen to Canary Cry News Talk. Look at that. Lots of quantifiable measurements of the quality of this show.
I'm getting concerned about the Sentinel either having way too much mind control over his immediate proximity, or this is some kind of weird split personality.
I'm not concerned.
Personality disorder.
The Sentinel, don't listen to Gons. He's always trying to say there's something wrong with me. He's always trying to say there's something wrong with you. Everybody's fine. You're doing a great job. I also want to thank Justin the Muffin, 5 stars. Beefiest podcast I know. I'm swole and smart, and this is the only podcast I listen to when working it out or studying. Listening is guaranteed to increase your max bench press by 33 pounds. Look at that. Another quantifiable measurement of the good this podcast can do for you. I love it. Thank you guys so much for your ratings and reviews. It means so much to us, and it quantifiably helps us out. When we get ratings and reviews on Apple Podcasts, especially and 33 of them, then it boosts the algorithms. People are shown the show. Robots share the show with people who have never heard it before. It's essential, especially during these times where we're at active war with the algorithms. So thank you guys very, very much. And I think it's time to get back to the show.
Okay, let's do some Flippy.
Flippy update.
Do you want fries with that?
Okay, just a quick one here, Gons. Is Flippy laughing at you or with you? We will find out now here at inverse.com. Here's the thing, folks. The Flippy is our colloquial name for the disembodied robot arms that are taking our jobs, enslaving our children, and flirting with our spouses. We use talking about Flippy as a way to explore all the new, fun, and exciting ways the robots are taking over the world. And just how there's nothing we can do about it. Today from inverse.com, here's a headline: Horrifying, robots may have just gained a creepy new skill. Do you want to hear about this new skill, Guns?
Let's hear it. I like the skills.
Okay. Skills, yes. Lots of skills. Most of us can tell the difference between a belly-busting laugh in reaction to a cat video and a weak chuckle following a coworker's corny joke. But can robots? In a recent study published in the journal Frontiers in Robotics and AI, researchers designed a new AI system to detect people's laughs, decide whether to giggle in response, and choose the type of laugh that's appropriate for the context. Oh, it's totally fine and regular, Gons. This new design might help liven up chats between people and robots in an increasingly digital world. Quote, I hope we can foster the idea that laughter should be a fundamental part of any conversational robot. Fundamental, Gons. They're going to have laughter as a fundamental part.
These
of
fundamentalists need to settle down.
Says study author Devesh Lala, a researcher.
Lala? Really? Wow.
Gons, don't make fun of people's names, man.
I'm not. I'm just pointing out that a lot of the names of these folks are always relevant to
foreign?
Some kind of. It's not just foreign, but I don't know. I've never seen Lala as an actual name.
Yeah, well, it is the name of
Lala.
It is the name of a Teletubby, so maybe that has something to do with it.
No, I wasn't subject to that as a child. Continue.
He's a researcher who studies conversational robots at Kyoto University in Japan. Quote, we have proposed the idea of shared laughter as one way to attack this issue. Oh no, it's taken a turn. Laughter is now a weapon of war with these robots. The past decade has brought freaky, ultra-realistic AI-powered robots that can gab relatively easily with people. And it seems like each new gadget dives even deeper into the uncanny valley. Then they give some suggestions, or some examples. Sophia, the Tesla robot, blah, blah, blah. Despite recent breakthroughs, scientists have struggled to make robots laugh. A crucial step that some experts feel could foster.
Wait a minute. Hold on.
A genuine,
is a scientist
empathetic
how are
relationship between humans and humanoids.
I'm just picturing these scientists doing the AI, whatever, getting it to a certain point, and like, I'm telling all these jokes. I can't get it to laugh. I can do all these. It does all these other great things, but
yes, these scientists,
these jokes.
They became scientists after a failed stand-up comedian career, and now this is kind of their sick, twisted way.
One of the things I heard that was part of the challenges of AI in general is laughter and humor.
Yeah,
it's one of the only last pure human sort of expressions of emotion that can't be mimicked. And so for this to be a story is scary, but also all those comedians are now part of the data experiment collection of information to find out how the AI should interact in what context people should laugh. in a conversation.
Well, humor really is the last thing that a robot can't do that a human can do. It used to be like, the things of the mind. Humans can always excel in the tasks, the careers of the mind. And
or
then
art. Art was a big one.
Art as well. And now we have robot art coming out our ears. We have robots being lawyers and judges and everything. So really, careers of the mind aren't even off limits now. Right now, it's sort of careers of the funny bone. It's really the last things, because you had careers of the spirit. They have robot priests, robot.
Right. They just got to cover all the emotions and humor.
They cannot get humor quite yet. Yeah. Previous work has mostly aimed to design robots that can detect people's laughter, Lala says, but he and his team wanted to take things a step further. Quote,
that's the problem right there, taking it a step further.
Always progressing the game, Lala. Quote, if you can do this, then you can simply make a shared laughter system which just laughs when a person does, he says.
That doesn't sound or feel extremely awkward.
Now listen to this. It gets even worse. The scientists have created what they call shared laughter system that they hope to eventually program into talking robots. When a person laughs, neural networks pick up on the sound, then a series of models that classify data decide whether to chuckle in response, and if so, choose the type of laugh that's appropriate to reply with. And they talk about a social laugh, which is just kind of like a space filler or a fake laugh, and then a mirthful laugh, which is like a real, something funny is really going on. Yeah. This recent work is just the latest attempt to make robots appear more empathetic and help them form meaningful relationships with humans. So it's all about the social engineering and appearing more empathetic. After all, talking robots could one day care for our aging relatives and follow us around our homes, along with our particularly intimate applications. Yeah, that's when you really want the laughter.
You laugh at my jokes, but wasn't that a joke in some show?
Intimate laughter.
The joke about how the robot wife will laugh at your jokes, but your real wife wouldn't. There's a joke.
Sure, it is.
Some show.
Yeah. Sounds hilarious. Some experts claim that computers can only superficially offer empathy, and that it's a doomed mission from the start. Quote: now machines are not content to show us they are smart. They pretend to care about our love lives and children, wrote Sherry Turkle, a sociologist and psychologist at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, that's MIT, in her 2021 memoir, The Empathy Diaries. That's just about it. There's a few more things, but basically the rest of the article is talking about how this is going to be so wonderful because now we will feel so close and such camaraderie with the robots. And the real terrifying part about this for me is I think that this is not necessarily just training robots to make us feel comfortable, but this will be training humans to feel more comfortable around psychopaths. Because the way that they describe these robots and learning to laugh is as if it were a true blue, clinically diagnosed psychopath. Doesn't know what laughing is, learns to copy laughter because it's what you do socially, only really laughs when you laugh because they don't sense humor. They just laugh because it looks like that's what they're supposed to do at the time. It's really, more than anything, training humans to tolerate psychopaths and to if not tolerate psychopaths, not be able to sort of identify them. And we know that psychopaths make up about 20% of the elites in our world, CEOs, politicians, all registered psychopaths. So I think if we start interacting with robots on a daily basis, it will make us worse and worse and worse at detecting the lizard people. And that's exactly what the plan is all along, in my opinion.
Read this part here. It's a quote. One ethical issue is whether or not we want robots to lie and explicitly say things like, I understand what you're going through.
Yep.
And this is something we should consider, he says.
Yeah.
We should consider that.
Well, that's exactly what I'm talking about. I mean, that is where I was going to end the reading, because that is kind of the kicker. Like, is it ethical to get people used to being lied to emotionally? You know, if somebody, especially an elderly person, you know, you got child care robots or elderly care robots, and they are 24/7 dealing with what amounts, if it was a human, what amounts to a psychopath, is kind of a twisted
an emotionless
way.
thing, expressing emotion or some kind of emotional connection with
basically someone. lying about understanding emotions, lying about caring, lying about all these things. So there you go. That's not only how the robots are going to take over the world, but how the psychopathic lizard people are going to train us all to be obedient.
Yeah, well, we can just maybe leave.
Space Force.
Space Force.
A spaceship.
They make their sound, which is kind of like
a spaceship.
Space Force.
Space.com. Headline here. U.S. Space Force gets its second ever chief.
Whoa, second ever chief in the
3
2 years.
Yeah, I think it's 3 years.
The first guy didn't last very long, huh?
No. The U.S. Space Force has a new leader. On Thursday, the Senate unanimously confirmed Lieutenant General B. Chance Saltzman as Chief of Space Operations for the Space Force. Saltzman takes over from General John J. Raymond, J-Ray stepping down, who had led the nation's newest military branch since its inception in December of 2019. Raymond will retire, ending a 38-year military career. And it says here, Saltzman, who entered the military in 1991, quote, has deep operational experience with missile and space systems as a Minuteman III launch officer and as a satellite operator for the National Reconnaissance Office.
Good.
The guy taking over has experience with space system, missile and space systems, which is kind of an interesting dude to have in there, given what might be happening with
somebody's got to know how to launch the missiles from space.
I was gonna say, you can't just have J-Ray. J-Ray's a little too shaky when his finger gets near the button. So we need someone that's been there before. And since August 2020, Saltzman has served as Deputy Chief of Space Operations for Operations Cyber and Nuclear. That's a pretty big job. In it, Saltzman had, quote, overall responsibility for operations, intelligence, sustainment, cyber, and nuclear operations for the Space Force. Space Force officials wrote. And he goes into some of the history here, but yeah, the guy, we need a trigger man, you know? We got to get the right trigger man because obviously we're in a war.
Russia.
Yeah. I want to have a sort of media literacy lesson, Gons. Are you ready?
Sure.
So here's one thing. We know that the Nord Stream pipelines have been blown up. We know that individuals such as Polish politicians, EU elected officials, people like that have hinted at the idea that it was the U.S. that did it, not Russia, of course. For those who are in the know, immediately knew that it was the U.S. I mean, it's just such an impulsive instinct now that when something like this happens, you're like, yeah, of course we did it. Especially when everybody starts saying it was Russia. And we kind of went over the whole thing. Now, there was some chatter in different locations on some podcasts. I saw in some kind of blogs, some tweets, some vlogs, and some tweets, people talking about how there had been U.S. warships stationed in that exact spot just days before the explosion. Okay, I said, that's very interesting. Let's find this out. Were there some American warships in the area of the Nord Stream 2 explosions recently? And let's find out. And there was we even went so deep to say that it was an underwater warfare team that was it just made it sound very suspicious. Okay, so I said, that sounds that's too perfect. Let's find out. And so I start doing some searches. I start, turning on my VPNs and privacy things and trying to trick the algos and try to use some different things. And I cannot find a single source for this idea that U.S. warships were there. At least nothing it's all just weird blogs and outlets that don't give any sources, don't say, they just kind of type it in and press enter and let it go. But I did find a lot of mainstream articles coming out saying, there were Russian warships, though. Russians were there. Let us tell you how the Russians were there, right when they say that Americans were there. And I go, okay, we got to start somewhere. And so I did. I started with this headline from Newsweek. And I say, let's see what they have to say. And there's this headline from Newsweek. And as we know, as we've followed from the Harvard media funding chart, Newsweek has some mysterious funding and also has some funding connected to known CIA outlets. So you got to keep that in mind while we read this. This headline from Newsweek is Russian ships spotted near Nord Stream pipelines before explosions. Report. And I'm not going to read the whole thing. In fact, I'm going to go to about the center of the article, because the first half of the article is, there were some Russian warships in the area. We clocked the Russian warships a little bit before the explosion. So obviously, the Russian warships did it. Okay. Now, keep in mind, the Russian warships go in and out of the Baltic Sea all the time. It's their main naval thoroughfare, because if they're not in the Baltic Sea, the only other coastline Russia has is the Arctic Ocean, which they do use, but they also use the Baltic Sea quite often. In fact, it's a regular place that is under constant surveillance forever, just because we keep an eye on Russians, the Navy. And so they're always there. We're always watching them. But halfway through this Newsweek article, things got a little twisty-turvy, Gons, and it started to read like this. In a statement on its Telegram social media account, the embassy, the Russian embassy, mocked claims from U.S. legislators who, quote, perhaps have a better view from the top of Capitol Hill. Quote, but if that is the case, they must also have seen the U.S. warship activities at the very site of the Russian infrastructure disruption just the day before. The statement read, quote, or noticed drones and helicopters fly over there. So you have the Russian embassy in America on their Telegram channel making the statement that U.S. warships were there the day before the explosion. Let's continue. The statement did not say which American warships were in the area, but Russian news outlet Lenta.ru said on Wednesday how a U.S. Air Force helicopter had been seen near the pipelines the night before the accident, citing data from flight radar. Citing data from flight radar. So the Russians have actual data from flight radar about a U.S. Air Force helicopter. And the strangest thing is that Newsweek is reporting it. They're not calling it a Russian conspiracy theory. They're not calling it a baseless claim. They're not calling it, they're just saying, a Russian newspaper, a news agency, cited data from flight radar, which is a pretty commonly used service. There's a few different ones you can use that stated that Air Force helicopter was in the area. Okay, It's weird they called it an accident, but okay, so there you go. We're citing flight radar data about a U.S. Air Force helicopter in the area. The Russian embassy statement also referred to U.S. Navy exercises, quote, with underwater explosives that have been conducted in the same area some time ago. So that is the statement from Russia, okay? So they still have not called this false. They have not called this a conspiracy theory. They have not called this anything. And that is the end of the claims from Russia. Then Newsweek, on their own recognizance, continues with this. Earlier in September, U.S. Navy amphibious assault ship USS Kearsarge took part in exercises in the Baltic Sea. Washington has dismissed Moscow's claims that it was responsible for damage to the pipes. Okay, so it is reported fact, acknowledged by Washington, that we did have some naval amphibious assault ships in the area this month.
Doing exercises.
Doing exercises.
Why are they always doing exercises and drills near the locations where events happen? It's just
where things just happen to happen.
Man,
however, it continues. The Russian embassy said the energy trade between Moscow and Europe was an eyesore for the U.S., which had been seeking to squeeze out Moscow as a competitor on energy market and get allies hooked on American imports of LNG, liquefied natural gas. This is an obvious. This isn't even a conspiracy theory. I mean, there's there's video of Biden complaining about this exact thing. Quote, "We insist on the need for a comprehensive, objective examination." Now, so this is being reported directly from Newsweek, potentially a CIA outlet. Seems to be that way, at least. They are not calling it a conspiracy theory. They're not denying anything. They're not using any of the usual language to try to, to discount this. And in a way, in a strange sort of twisted way, this is actually a return to actual journalism. You know, they're not putting any activism on it. They're not putting any spin on it. They're just telling you the facts, which is, yeah, the U.S. thinks everybody's saying it's Russia. However, Russia says it was the U.S. and says there were U.S. warships. And yeah, factually, there were U.S. warships. Washington denies it, but, it looks like the U.S. might have a reason for this. But, whatever. We're not going to call it baseless conspiracy theories, et cetera, et cetera. And I think, and we've noticed changes, pivots, if you will, in the strategies of the U.S. media. It's part of our job is noting shifts in MOs. And it seems as though I would also refer back to the Vox article from last episode, where they were just happy to talk flippantly about alternative facts or alternative views. Or now in Vox, they actually called it conspiracy theory because they're so edgy and cool. But in Newsweek, they are simply reporting what used to be relegated to fringe blogs, fringe podcasts, people having to dig in, get their YouTube channel kicked off for saying such crazy things. They're just getting ahead of it and putting it all in the report. Even not so long ago, something like this, they would report the story about how it was Russia and Russia's evil, how they blew up their own pipeline because Putin's crazy. And then they would post a different article and they would fact check. They'd fact check these claims from Russia Telegram channels. Or they would say, listen to this crazy conspiracy theory from the Russians who are taking over our media. Stuff like that. It used to be very, I don't even know what the word is, but that's how our lives were reading the
symbiotic relationship between like an alt news platform or blogs or whatever in the mainstream.
A bivalent strategy when it comes to reporting the mainstream narrative and simultaneously debunking conspiracy theories. Is this bivalent sort of strategy. Now, just with this Nord Stream explosion, it seems like news outlet after news outlet has completely changed the strategy, whereas put it all together, report the facts. If you don't want people to think of something, you just say it, and you just say the Russians said it, okay? It's kind of like a dog whistle. Like, the Russians said it, so you know it's fake, but we don't need to tell you it's fake because you know it's already fake because the Russians said it. It is really marking a strange new era, I think. And I think we're going to be seeing this more and more. And why? I don't quite know. I think to a degree, it might take the power out of what they would consider to be the conspiracy theorists' hands. Hey, we'll just put it out there. So when people inevitably do come across the idea that there were U.S. Navy ships there, then they will have already heard it from us, and it's not so forbidden. It's not so taboo. It's not so, deliciously, anti-authoritarian, because we'll report it, and that way we can take the power out of the conspiracy theorists' hands. Something like that. I don't know exactly what it is, but that seems close to it for me. What do you think?
Well, you have the ability to scapegoat someone, in this case Russia, which is not a new tactic, but also, point, or at least lay out the facts in a way where the only person making the connection is the enemy. We're not making the connection. If you make the connection, that's on you. But that sort of tactic, interestingly, I think this is more of how it was like before things got a little wild in the 2010s.
Yeah,
I feel like a lot of news, mainstream news, would write articles about something and looks really kind of boring and milquetoast, but they'll have stuff in there. If you read through it, it's like, oh my gosh, they literally say like, oh yeah, they did this experiment. This is like a factual thing or whatever. They've been doing that for a long time. It was sort of I don't know. It's not sensationalization because I think people are just connecting dots. It's sort of the focus on those facts and the dot connecting. That became
the fact that the fact that for the past 10 years, they wouldn't report this part of the story, and it would be left up to the alternative outlets to report it, I think is part of what made people not trust the mainstream media in the first place. Part of me thinks maybe this is an attempt to try to regain the trust of people.
Maybe. There's some of that.
Because I think it simultaneously has the potential to both regain the trust of people because you're reporting the things that you would try to hide from them before, and you're taking the power out of alternative media's hands because people, if they feel like you're reporting everything, then they may not go to alternative media.
Right.
And it might be a long play. Like, it's not going to change with this one event or this one article. And so we'll keep an eye on it. Like, if it continues to happen, that will be really fascinating. And it'll be fascinating for us and our job because it means that there's another strategy we need to learn and know how to point out and find the flaw in and find the agenda in. So I'm kind of excited for it. Gives us something new and exciting to focus on when it comes to analyzing and deconstructing the mainstream media.
But also beware, Basil, because some of the claims that we make are pretty crazy. And if that's the kind of stuff that they're just like, yeah, yep, that's what it is, then, it'll be trouble. But, we should, just to let you know in a little bit inside baseball, Basil, my main window that does the show broadcast disappeared.
Oh, that's fun.
Completely disappeared. Can't reopen. No option for recently closed windows. I can open tabs, but I can't open whole windows.
Okay.
So
you mean
disastrous
like your
over here.
browser that you're running
Yeah,
from,
the browser
or
that-
one of the software?
No, the browser that gets broadcast to the show, which I line up with all the stories and all the art and everything, is now gone. So I have to manually do it every moment. Every time we shift into something else, I have to like manually do it,
Fun.
which is a pain. But
All right.
there you go.
Well,
that's
we'll make it through.
some inside baseball.
Sounds like we
And-
better take a break then.
Well, we're gonna party. We're not gonna break. Are you kidding me? We're gonna.
Are you
Okay, hold on.
kidding
We're gonna party.
Are we gonna do anything?
Canary Cry Top Party. Go there. You'll find a tree of links with ways to connect with the show, listen, watch the show, and connect with the community and support us.
Welcome to Canary Cry Party. It's the place you wanna be. So say, welcome to Canary Cry. Gameplay, Canary Cry Party.
Yay! All sorts of fun stuff over there at canarycry.party. You can listen to Ravel, which is a podcast I do with Dr. Christopher Ryan Gates. He's a PhD in biblical interpretation. We explore society, scripture, and scandal, having tough conversations in good faith. Go check it out. I highly recommend you do. It's a great show. You can also, I recommend you join our newsletter, especially as things get shakier and shakier with the censorship, not just even the shadow banning, but the actual banning that might be coming soon. Go join the newsletter. That's a great way to make sure you don't miss any of our changes, any of our platform changes or anything like that, including our PayPal situation. We'll see how that goes. And at the same time, if you're already getting the newsletter, you should also join the text message alert system. It's simply, you just give us your phone number and we send out a text. Right now, we send out texts just right before every show, so you know that we are going live, because the big tech platforms, they like to not tell you when that happens, and just getting a text message makes it much easier. Don't worry, we don't even take any personally identifiable information. No names, no nothing, baby. We're run blind over there. But you do get the alerts when we go live. That's a helpful thing. And I will say, let's see. I think those are the two really important ones. But also, we forgot to say this: the Canary Cry Clips channel just got its first strike, baby. It's been a rough week, folks. The Canary Cry Clips channel, which we have purposefully been very careful to keep all the obvious bannable material off of, at least on the YouTube. There is also the Odyssey channel, got his first strike. And I went through the whole thing. I watched the video we got in trouble for. I went through the appeal process. I did the whole thing. And it was from when you did the show. I think were doing the show yourself.
Oh, good. You're going to blame me forever again.
This one's a Gon's one. You were talking about the Jared Kushner technocratic thing, where he was talking about living forever. And they specifically said, this video spreads misinformation about COVID-19 and the vaccines. I'm like, what? You don't mention anything in there. It was the subheadline of the article that you read that says, Bannon criticizes Jared and says that he rushed the vaccine or something. It's just something. It was like a passing.
Oh, Bannon.
Not in.
The algos caught Bannon vaccine, and it was like, must be fake news.
Exactly.
Oh,
yeah. So they're onto us over there. Yeah, but it's completely whack. We'll see if the appeal gets.
That's not even.
It's wrong. It's wrong. It's a wrongful strike. It's not even correct in its application. But we're used to that. That happens to us all the time at this point. So
Stop
there you
Asian
go.
Hate. Sorry.
I'm glad. Yes, that made it into the appeal. Don't worry.
Did you really?
You did, not me, Guns. I would
did.
never pretend.
Okay.
I would
well,
never pretend to be an Asian American. But so that happened. You can still go follow the Canary Cry Clips channel. And, you know, the one criticism we get about Canary Cry Clips is that we put out so much content over there that on posting days, like
it takes over
your
people's
notifications your notifications pop off. So that is the one criticism we get from that channel, but be thankful we're not allowed to post there for a week. So follow. Right now is a great time to go follow Canary Cry Clips.
We got banned from uploading. I thought that's usually just like live streaming, but upload too?
It's a strike. Yeah, it's a strike. We can't can't post anything for a week. But that is also a good reminder to go follow the Canary Cry Clips channel over on Odyssey, where we don't have those problems. All right, that's a lot. I know there's a lot of news, man. We just got to get all this out there.
Can I read a couple more reviews right now, or what do you want to do?
Yeah, sure. I'll read a couple more reviews. I thought you'd never ask. I got just a couple here. This one is from Smith the Modoc, and it says 5 stars. Christian perspective. I listen to Canary Cry News Talk because a Christian perspective on world events is desirable. It's a very clinically described, and I appreciate it very much. Thank you, Smith from Modoc. Now, this one kind of confused me a little bit. This is from Pay the Heck, and it's a 1-star review. And it says, super valuable podcast. This podcast helps me understand what's going on in the world without getting depressed. 1 star. So I think it was an accident. I think it was a whoopsie daisies. Good news is, Pay the Heck, if you're listening, you can go change that. You can go make that a 5-star review. But you know what? We read them all. Thank you very much to all of our reviewers. It helps so much. All right. You ready to thank some more producers?
Let's do it.
It's break time! Come on, take a break.
Okie dokie. We're going to thank a supply drop producer for coming in.
Wow, supply drop.
Supply drop.
That's right. CanaryCrySupplyDrop.com. Go sign up now. It's not only are you producing the show, that's why you do it. You sign up to support the show in 3333 because you're a producer and you want the show to continue. But in return, we send you free gifts 4 times a year, once per quarter. We'll send you American-made, artist-designed, producer-produced, beautiful Canary Cry News Talk gear. This next quarter is the Canary Cry calendar, the most treasured Canary Cry item that has ever been created, and our most long-standing tradition in physical objects being created. So go sign up now. You got to do it now. Don't wait, because a lot of people wait and they miss the cutoff, and then they're very sad about it. I got a note from Paul G. Paul G is a supply drop producer, and he sent in a couple of pictures. And he says here, we finally harvested some melons and that we grew from the non-GMO seeds that came in the very first supply drop. Remember, first supply drop, we sent some non-GMO survival seeds. Apparently they got planted. There's some pictures here. He says, I am pleased to say that this is some of the best tasting melon we have had, and they are a new favorite in our house. Thanks again for all you do, Gons, for all you and Gons do. Oh, he's writing to me. And thanks to all the producers that help make this show and community possible. Well, thank you very much, Paul G. He also sent in a great story we'll probably put in a future episode. So there you go, CanaryCrySupplyDrop.com. Go check it out. And we have a new supply drop signer-upper, and that is producer Alana S.
Alana S., thank you.
Thank you very much, Alana S. And we got a few more people, regular one-timer producers of this. What?
Isn't Alana S. waiting for the supply drop?
Oh, yeah. All right, there you go. Thank you, Alana S. I sent you an email. Check your email. Next, okay, we got some producers. Let's thank them now, starting with Lady Night Little Wing.
Thank you, Lady Night Little Wing.
comes in with a nice round number, so we're not going to disclose the amount. If you don't mind us disclosing the amount, folks, make it a funny number. Some people add 33 cents or 77 cents or something, just something not a regular number. And then we'll make sure to thank you for it. The note reads, "Greetings, Canary fam. Please keep me and my husband Charles in your prayers." Let's call the producers.
Producers, assemble!
Okay, producers, listen up. Who are the producers? They're you, dear listener. Just people who are committed to praying for the show, praying for the producers, praying for our YouTube channel and our PayPal. But right now, producers, we're putting on the list Lady Night Little Wing, more specifically. Pray for my husband Charles in your prayers as he tested positive for colon cancer. Yikes. Too much of this kind of stuff going on. Yeah. So
too bad. I'm sorry.
We are hoping and praying for a false positive as he goes for further testing. XOXO. Okay. Very specific. I like this. We're praying for Lady Night Little Wing and husband Charles. They're getting more tests done. We are specifically praying for a false positive. Thank you very much, producer Lady Night Little Wing, for being so faithful, producing the show. And producers, get on it. We're praying for you, Lady Night Little Wing, and your husband. Yep. Next up, we've got producer Julie S.
Julie S. Thank you.
Yes. I think Julie S. has another name, but I don't have it written down, and they didn't send a note. But thank you so much, Julie S., for your support. Nice round number. Keeping it secret, keeping it safe. Next up, we've got producer Christian N.
Christian N., thank you. Good to see you again.
Yeah, comes in, nice round number, says, "Hello, B&G. I'm busy as can be, but never want to go without Canary Cry Podcast. Thank you, and God bless you with my October contribution. Christian N. from Norway."
Thank you very much, Christian Norway.
And congrats.
It's Christian N. Maybe he's just Christian Norway.
Congrats on your new pipeline there. You're going to be the Norway, I forget what they call it. It's like the national fund. Richest, you talk about richest country on earth. Actually, Norway has $1 trillion public bank account. Yeah. Because all the money that they make from selling their gas goes to supporting all their social programs.
That's why they're so socialist.
Yeah, they're not a good example of what socialism looks like. Apparently, socialism works if your country has a $1 trillion bank account.
Because everyone just goes, oh, all right, well, yeah, we got the money to do it. So, yeah.
Yeah, you always got the money. They always got the money.
Well, the U.S. is kind of like that. You just got to turn the printer back on,
No, because all that money just goes straight to the military-industrial complex.
Oh.
I mean, that is the equivalent. The equivalent is if all the profit from the U.S. military-industrial complex, instead of going into the hands of CEOs of death dealers, if all the military-industrial complex money went to, like, healthcare and
the taxpayers directly.
Yeah, if it went back to the taxpayers,
we gain money from
that would be
investment.
the equivalent, right? Okay. Thank you very much, Christian.
Thank you, Christian.
We also got Malik W on a 3-episode streak.
Malik W on a streak. That means he is heating up.
He's heating up.
Thank you, Malik. Hope you're safe over there. Malik is one of our people in the way of Ian. I have not heard anything, but he did come in with a producership, so he must be relatively okay. Next up, we got Sir Moore of Night of the Burning Chariots. 146 episodes in a row.
Thank you,
11 indeed. Next up, we got producer G. Just G.
What's
Comes
up,
in.
G?
Yeah, pocket full of sevens, says, first-time producer, long-time listener, keep up the good work. Thought over action over emotion. Ooh, I like that. Thought over action over emotion. Interesting. Thank you very much, producer G.
The thought affects the action affects the emotion.
Yeah, or the other way around.
Or the other way. It's
I don't know.
Ouroboros.
Oh my gosh. So much to think about. Very deep fella or lady. Thank you, G.
Thank you, G.
Next up, we got Sir Alex Protocol V2, Night of the Berean Protocol. 82 episodes in a row.
Thank you so much.
Oh yeah, Johnny in the chat also points out Norway's population is less than half of LA. So
you got
helps.
$1 trillion for $20 million.
$1 trillion and like a medium-sized city getting to share the $1 trillion. That's when socialism works, folks.
Really, Norway's 5.35 million is the population.
I could be wrong. I think it's 4 million something.
Oh my gosh, even less than, huh?
I believe.
The
I could be
interweb in
corrected on that.
2019, 5.35, so maybe after the pandemic.
You looked it up. Okay, so oh jeez, yeah. Okay, so 5. Yeah, so my number's a little old, but not that far off.
$1 trillion.
Sovereign Wealth Fund is what it's called. It's called the Sovereign Wealth Fund. All right, Sir Alex Protocol V2, now the Berean Protocol, comes in with a pocket full of 7s and fees and says, "Thank you. Have a blessed day." Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, we've got Gail M on the line here, coming
Gail
in
M.
on a 177 episode streak.
Oh my goodness.
I'm just about ready to do it. Space Cowboy.
Cowgirl.
My brain is broken. What else do I say here? Now, look, I want to do it's like a Mad Lib. I love these little guys. What do you think the viability of a large-scale emu ranch would be? I just don't take myself seriously, and you shouldn't take me very seriously either. Still don't know why that's the 177 streak jingle, but you know what? It's a good time. Gail sends a note here. "Hi, my sweets. It's me again. I'm signed up at Rockfin, and I want to please encourage Twitch family to reunite there." That's what I'm talking about. "I miss you all so much. If YouTube joins in, the more the better. Basil, I love my Dame name, my Dame Gail name you chose. Let's do it." XXXX. Okay, good. That's the one we'll do. We did not plan for a daming today, Gons. We might need to push it to Monday, all things considered, but we'll see how we go here. That concludes our list of producers. Let me double check. Fine. Yeah, that concludes our list of producers who came in the amount of 777 or more, which entitles them to have a note read on the show. A couple more people to thank. Let's do that now. Starting with Sir Darren S. Night of the Hungry Panda, 51 episodes in a row.
Thank you very much, Sir Darren S. That's part of the... Yep, continue. Go ahead.
We've got Runk Smash, 30 episodes in a row.
Runk Smash. Thank you.
Got Veronica D, 177. Her.
Women rule.
Sir Scott Knight of Truth.
She is on a 177 streak.
Oh,
do we play that again?
Do we have a shorter one?
We don't. I can make it shorter.
Play a piece of it. Just play a piece of it.
All right, here we go.
I love these little guys. What do you think the viability of a large-scale emu ranch would be?
There you go, 177 streak.
There we go. Thank you, Veronica D. I hope you understand. We have Sir Scott Knight of Truth, 201 episodes in a row. It's 201!
201!
Oh, yeah! Streakalicious!
Event 201.
Illness with symptoms ranging from mild flu-like signs to severe pneumonia.
Pandemic.
There you go.
Thank you, Sir Scott Knight of Truth. Then, of course, we've got Sir Casey the Shield Knight, 212 episodes in a row. 212.
Oh, yeah! Streakalicious!
Okay, couple more reviews, Gons. Check this out. Quick, 5 stars, says, "Love this, different in a really refreshing way. Thanks, guys." Thank you. Then we got Joel. Yeah, it's Quebecan, maybe. Joel 1027, 5 stars. "Good family fun. Love this podcast and the reactions that come from our children when the jingles come on. It's a dance party. Thank you guys for your insight and keep doing what you're doing." Thank you, Joel. That's right. Thank you, folks. Go leave ratings and reviews on Apple Podcasts. And thank you to all of our producers today making this show possible. We literally cannot do it without you. And moving into this next phase, it's going to be even more important than before. So stay tuned. Thank you for your patronage.
Shut up and take my money.
Thank you for your patronage. Thank you for your patronage. Thank you for your patronage.
Okay, now.
Yeah.
Normally we would either cut YouTube now or continue. We make the decision. We didn't talk about it before the show. We were talking COVID. We were just explaining the Clips channel.
Lots of COVID.
Although I don't think we mentioned Steve Bannon.
We don't mention anything.
I think we're okay.
I think we'll be okay. I think more of a timing thing is our trouble.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's always
we'll figure that out. We might need to make a game time decision, folks. But let's do COVID.
Okay, gotta find the jingle now. I gotta.
You know
all
what?
The things.
Hold on a second.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? I don't think this is safe. I don't think it's safe to do this. I think we need to send everybody to Rockfin.
Okay. Yeah.
I think
you're
we
right.
have to. Honestly, I mean, we could, but it just puts everything even more at risk. And there's not enough people at Rockfin that if we got cut off today, if we got cut off because of this, there's not enough people over at Rockfin that we could survive it. So that's what we got to do. Both for one more second, one more week, keep the YouTube alive, but also to encourage people to head on over to the Rockfin. So go to rockfin.com. That's ROKFIN.com/CCNT and follow that channel. I'm going to pop the link into the chat here. I see you asking for the link. Thank you very much. So everybody on YouTube, go over there, follow that channel now. Don't worry, you don't have to pay for it. We're still value for value. I know a lot of people use Rockfin for subscriptions. We don't have prescriptions or subscriptions over there. You can tip if you'd like, but the show is still free. So go over there, follow that, rockfin.com, CCNT. Go follow now, because what comes next is too hot for YouTube. Hey, look at that, Gons. Oh, that's recommended for me. I was going to say, it looked for a second like we got onto the front page of Rockfin. But that's just the recommended for me section. Never mind.
Okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm. Everybody stay calm. What's the procedure?
Twitch, Rumble, Odyssey, Twitter, Facebook, whatever it is, you can find all those links at canarycry.party as well. Too hot for YouTube.
YouTube.
Now you see me. Now you don't.
Couldn't find it in time. I got to re-find all of my transition videos and jingles. Yeah, this is a pretty disastrous situation in today's episode.
Sorry about that. Was the browser altogether failed, or just the window failed?
The entire browser.
Is it the Brave browser? You want to put a browser on blast right now?
Yeah, Brave. You guys need to.
Brave. What happened, Brave?
I mean, what happened? You guys, it was so hopeful. It's like
you guys were doing so good, Brave. Now you can't keep a window open. All right. The YouTubers are. Can you see this? There was YouTubers in the chat telling us to skip stories so we can stay on YouTube.
Oh, no.
Doesn't that perfectly show the sickness of YouTube? That means it's working. That means what YouTube is doing is working. That they would rather people skip important stories that drastically affect their life just to not go to another platform while they're sitting on their phone or their computer. The only thing I put the link in the chat. One tap of the finger and they are at another platform watching the show. But they would rather that we skip analysis, valuable deconstruction of how the lies of the mainstream media are pulling the veil over everybody's eyes. They would rather us self-censor our content than click one button and go over to a different platform. It's truly astounding.
COVID-19, 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 coronavirus.